Hello, and welcome back. I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders, nearly as much as I used to play Tarkov back in the day. For me, the main driver that always motivates me to grind progression in extraction shooters is consistency. That is to say, I'm constantly chasing the idea of being able to run whatever gear I want, every raid, without having to rely on RNG to find specific loot. But what's good for an individual player isn't necessarily good for the game, and Embark clearly intended to design a more balanced economy than Tarkov's. Items in Arc Raiders are far less fungible than in Tarkov, and money can't buy everything you want. Let's do a quick example. Here's a basic loadout using my favorite mid-tier gear. The immediate thing to point out is that the parts of it that can be bought cannot be bought infinitely. So if we want to run this loadout frequently, we'll need to be able to craft it, which of course is why blueprints are so valuable. Let's take a look at the crafting costs for everything here. First up is our augment and shield. Together these cost 2 electrical components, 3 magnets, 1 arc circuitry, and 4 batteries. The electrical components can be crafted from basic materials that Scrappy gives you, so they're functionally infinite. Arc circuitry can be crafted with 6 arc alloy, making it the next cheapest since fighting arc is something you know you're very likely to do every raid. Meanwhile, if you really need magnets, do you know off the top of your head where to find them? Is that spot guaranteed? I'm not sure you could do 5 runs in a row and expect to find a good amount of magnets every single time. This is a trend going forward. Loot from arc enemies is very consistent and easy to obtain, even when they're nominally rare. On the other hand, even uncommon materials are much harder to find if you have to loot specific areas or containers. After all, you could just get unlucky. Next up, let's talk about our quick use items. The adrenaline and grenades only take basic resources to craft, so they're more or less free. Meanwhile, the Surge shield recharger costs electrical components and advanced arc power cells, while our bandages cost durable cloth and great malign. You might think that the shield rechargers are the more expensive of the two, but in my experience, bandages and their upgrades are a far tighter bottleneck. Mostly the demand is simply higher. Because shields are not a second health bar in this game, you always take damage to your health, meaning that healing is far more important than shield recharging, and you typically need more of it. On top of that, each herbal bandage requires 14 fabric, while each Surge shield recharger uses only 8 plastic and 4 rubber. So although advanced arc power cells are theoretically rarer, you can often pick up tons if you kill large arc enemies occasionally, so between the two, it's fabric that I'm constantly running low on. The Raider hatch key isn't too bad. It costs 16 plastic, 8 rubber, 3 wires, and 3 sensors. The wires and sensors are not craftable, so you'll have to keep an eye out for them, or recyclables that turn into them. And finally, that brings us to our guns. Of course, the ammunition is crafted with basic materials, so we'll consider it free, for now. Same for a level 2 simple weapon. It only costs metal and plastic to make this hairpin too. Upgrading it any further would cost simple gun parts, which in my opinion are quite valuable, so it's really not worth it. Meanwhile, this Renegade costs advanced mechanical components, medium gun parts, and oil, and its attachments are similarly pricey. At the end of the day, to make a Renegade with Silencer 2, Stock 2, and Extended Magazine 1, assuming we're crafting everything we can, you need 70 metal parts, 30 rubber parts, 12 simple gun parts, 9 springs, 8 wires, 6 plastic parts, 5 oil, and 3 duct tape. And if you want to upgrade your Renegade all the way, which in my opinion is very worth it, that'll cost you 56 more metal, 24 more rubber, 24 more simple gun parts, and 8 more springs. In other words, this gun with these attachments costs a whopping 36 simple gun parts and 17 springs. Both of these are fairly common to find, but they are not craftable, so you can see how you might run out pretty quick. Let's imagine you have a survival rate of 75%. Optimistic for PvP, but achievable otherwise. In this scenario, you die and have to replace your kit 1 out of every 4 raids. You're not making any profit when you die, which means you have 3 raids to earn back the cost of your kit. And if you aren't making enough, you're going to lose resources over time. Since the kit costs 36 simple gun parts, that implies you need to extract with 12 simple gun parts on average to sustain just that part of the cost. And remember when I was saying that things crafted with basic materials are practically free? Let's check that assumption. The mechanical components to craft and upgrade the gun alone cost 112 metal and 48 rubber. If we add up everything in the entire loadout, it comes out to 158 metal, 97 plastic, 84 rubber, 70 fabric, and 54 chemicals. Not exactly a gap that Scrappy can cover in 4 raids. The big takeaway here is that even mid-tier kits are pretty unrealistic to run every single raid. It's very important to do what you can to manage these resource costs. For example, looting the most expensive items will be far more efficient than looting materials to craft them. This applies not only to guns and gun parts, but also to doing something like breaking down epic arc modules into advanced mechanical and electrical components. And of course, when all else fails, you can always do free loadout runs to farm resources. But don't expect to reach a point where you can run stacked gear every raid unless you can manage an incredibly high survival rate. The second takeaway is that the most crucial items to consistently loot are non-craftable, uncommon topside materials, because even though you can't craft them, the economy is still balanced around you having a lot of them since they're only uncommon rarity. I made a couple of infographics centered around these items, their uses, and what recyclables you can break down to get more of them. I know I'll be keeping an eye out for everything that breaks down into springs and wires. With that, thank you very much for watching. Keep an eye out for more Arc Raiders content, as I'm still having lots of fun with the game. I hope you have a fantastic day.